What's happening this week in Warcraft? Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catching me where I'm live. Let's start off with yet another round of class tuning. Blood Death Knights are up this week, with small bumps to threat and more to their mitigation, thanks to armor increases and more damage from Deathstrike. Frost Death Knights got some targeted buffs to their signature skills. Vengeance Demon Hunter damage is also up, with a focus on single target throughput. Balanced Druid Cleave and AoE got some love, as well as Guardian mitigation, with a tiny bit of magic damage reduction and a bit more physical reduction. Devastation Evokers got the best kind of balancing, buffing underperforming specs versus nerfing the overperforming one. The result is Flame Shapers getting a buff to Disintegrate. Skipping all the way down to Paladins suddenly, it's a lot of notes, but in short they got a fairly decent buff to damage and self-healing, and a little baby buff to reduce magic damage taken. On a personal note, they still probably have to chain a bunch of cooldowns more than any other tank classes, I think. Meanwhile, the throughput of Holy Paladin's healing spenders are up. Unlike the other tanks, Brewmaster Monks got knocked down a peg, with modest nerfs to their self-healing and damage reduction, but Windwalkers got a cute little buff to their single target damage. Assassination Rogues got some modest bumps to their AoE and damage over time. Meanwhile, Outlaws getting an overall increase that's being counterbalanced by a bit of a reduction to their cleave. Stormbringer Enhanced Shaman look like they got a sizable buff to bring them closer in line to their totemic counterparts, and that's it. There are no more changes for the rest of Midnight, and I'm just kidding. The Noblegarden holiday begins and lasts for 1 week. For anyone less familiar with this or other holidays, dotted around capital cities are holiday enthusiasts who can direct you where to go and will get you set up with a questline that gives you the ins and outs of what's up. In so few words, for Noblegarden, it's a lot of running around collecting eggs and trading them in for currency. There's also a holiday boss out in the world who drops transmog pieces that make up a set, including a new color variant for this year. This week, just about all the story lines up regardless of your playstyle. Story mode for the Quel'Danas raid will be available, notably for those who don't do group content and want to see the story, and especially for me, who happened to finish the raid without being on the quest to actually finish the raid, and I'll be right there alongside you to see the end. Raid Finder for the Quel'Danas raid will also be available, and I'll go over notable loot from there, as well as the last wing of the Voidspire raid, which I forgot to mention last week, because I am a monster. For the Crown of the Cosmos boss, there's a caster trinket that gives a stronger buff the longer one stays in combat, so it's good for longer fights or lots of chain pulling and keys. There's an on-use agility trinket that favors crit, and the more crits you do, the more you can fire this thing off. And there's this very rare neck for everyone. It's heavy on the haste and gives a modest little damage proc. Now we're off to the March of Quel'Danas, where the first boss drops a passive tanking trinket and a special trinket that can be transformed into one of two passive types, one that favors mastery, the other favoring crit. The final boss of the season drops the coveted Curio tier token, which can be exchanged for whatever piece you're missing. There's a neck piece that, curiously enough, has 2 gem slots instead of just 1. There's also a caster trinket with a passive damage proc and an additional bonus during execute phases. There's a healing trinket that, oddly enough, deals stacking damage, but has this neat effect where those stacks are consumed to heal those who are at lower health. I feel like this is an auto heal for tanks, and well, it seems pretty neat. There's also a special ring that has a defensive proc, but it's for everyone, as long as haste is useful for them at least. Personal note, this is more than likely what I'll be using my little bonus roll tokens on during the upcoming 12.0.5 patch. And while I haven't mentioned the core drops from raids at all, I want to point out the chaotic Void Maw that drops from this boss. When placed inside a house and used, it teleports users to a random location without any warning and no cast time. So it'll be a fun or malicious little trick when telling folks, oh yeah, go ahead dude, sit on that chair or open that door, only for them to accidentally click on the portal and then straight to like Narnia or something. This week we should also get a new rotation of housing endeavors to check out. It's hard to say which one we'll be getting, and data mining is limited to only a handful of possibilities, including the Earthen in Deepholm, the Sporgar in Zangomarsh, and the Kobolds down in the Ringing Deeps. Once upon a time, we were also shown Val'Sharah as a possible endeavor, and there could be reveals we know nothing about, or we might see a mix of the previous endeavors from late early access, so I'll try to report on this as soon as we learn more. There is plenty more gear to be had this week. The dungeon event is in play, where you just need to clear 4 mythic and higher dungeons to score you a random piece of hero track gear. I also want to take some time to talk to folks who are less enthused about Mythic Plus dungeons, but haven't totally closed the door to it yet. There are new features to make the experience a bit more friendly at the lower levels, and I'll show you how to help find them. Open the Group Finder tool from the menu bar to display the window, and then click on the Pre-Made Groups button. What we're going to do here is limit our selections to very friendly runs. So what we'll do here is click on the Filter button, and we'll limit our search to Mythic Plus and the Learning playstyle, so keep those checked. Then click on the Search button again to see your new results and start finding a group. I recommend doing your Mythic Plus Learning up to a keystone of level 5. That way you can take advantage of the Lindormi's Guidance buff, which should help those runs feel a bit smoother. Much of that coming from these light up buffs tanks can use to guide them through a full dungeon completion. But at key level 5, you also start dealing with these Xal'atath affixes, which I've been displaying up here on screen, and it should make a good learning experience. For example, you should expect a Fortified week, and the Xal'atath affix is Devour. It's a debuff that you either have to dispel or use excessive heals on to get a group buff, otherwise the enemy gets a buff instead. That's not good. The learning style groups here, they should be the most welcoming of them all, they should, but you can probably expect the least consistent result in your runs, and it might take some time to fill a group. For a bit more help, US realms can check out the WoW Made Easy to Score channel, EU realms can check out the No Pressure channel, and those are going to be linked below. Both are large communities made to help facilitate grouping and do their best to filter out bad actors and other rotten behavior. But I do encourage you to also come at these communities as well as the Group Finder with your best behavior and the mindset of lifting others, because that's going to get you success too. The Darkmoon Faire is also in town this week for you profession heads looking to bump your skill levels. From the looks of things, it appears the reputation bonuses are still disabled for midnight games, which is kind of a pity, but it's still a boon if you're farming up other old reps. And South Shore vs Terran Mill is the brawl. Let's not forget we have a full round of housing visits lined up this week from Tuesday through Thursday on Twitch and the Around Azeroth channel on YouTube. I invite you to come over and check out what's good while you're either out crushing skulls or working on your own build. With this, we have the mostly full plate of activities for Midnight Season 1, including the ongoing world activities and prey and delves and more. It's a lot for completionists, and I'd like to think it's a very diverse and healthy spread of things to do if it interests you. And in a few short weeks, we'll get even more entertainment to get us gear and cosmetics to celebrate how awesome we are. For now, that's it, and as news breaks this week, I will shamelessly read the blog post displaying it. Please like this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.